welcome to Season Talk. Today, to be having the discussion, owning your truth. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. As always, I appreciate you. Let me not introduce, reintroduce. Welcome back, my friend Shanika. Thank you for coming
Of
back.
course, Shirley. Hey, everyone.
Yes. So, owning your truth. When we think about owning your truth, we have to think about, are we being real with yourself? I want to start with a simple question. Have you ever known deep down something wasn't right for you, but you stayed anyway? Maybe it was a relationship, a job, or even a decision you were making. Today we're going to unpack what it really means to listen to yourself and live in your truth.
Yeah. When you're owning your truth, if it doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not right. We can't do stuff because people may not like it.
Absolutely.
And it's okay, again, to say no.
Right.
Sometimes it hurt, and sometimes it may hurt you. But you have to go what you believe in, what you feel is right. When you're in a situation, like you said, relationship, a job, a
Mm-hmm.
friendship, you could be friends with someone, and then I think in life, as people grow, some people do fall apart. Because whatever life changes, life be life, like they say, life be life, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's people I have been friends with for years, and now they at a point where their belief and my belief don't align,
And seasons change,
and
and
it
that's okay.
changes,
Yeah.
and it changes, and it's okay, to hey, still be cordial,
Mm-hmm.
but if your belief is different from theirs and your truth is different from theirs, it's okay to, love them from a distance.
Right. And as always, I just like to back up with scripture.
Yeah.
Proverbs 4:23. It says, above all else, guard your heart. For
Mm.
everything you do flows from your heart.
Mm.
And I know I may have said this numerous of times, but gotta self exam a lot. As you are growing, as you're healing, it's always, and you people will hear me say this over and over, self examination.
Mm.
You have to continually self examine yourself every
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
When I think about, owning your truth, can I just be transparent for a
Of
minute?
course you can.
Coming when you're brought up um, in a foundation where it's toxic, like I mentioned before
Yeah.
from previous, episodes, which is the foundation again why I started this podcast. Toxicity, emotional needs not being met, not knowing how to communicate, not having your what I'm trying to say, your choices
Right.
snatched away from you,
Right.
when you're not able to communicate how you feel, and then when you have communicated how you feel, it was kind of shunned upon,
Right.
depending on the circumstance,
Mhm.
the way I was parented. So I can honestly sit here and say I had to learn myself.
Right.
I had
Right.
to discover, who is Shirley.
And you know what, Shirley, and I truly believe people say you would never stop learning, you know, yourself, someone else. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
how long you've been together or how
Yeah.
long you may think you know you. And then one
Mm-hmm.
thing we do get offended by when people give us criticism. It don't have
Yeah.
to be anything bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're so used to a certain way that how we want things to go and what we believe in, and then people may say, well, if like they say, people on the outside kind of know you better because
Mm-hmm.
when you there, and especially your circle, they tell you one thing, and you want somebody that's not going to be biased.
Absolutely.
And some
Absolutely.
people, they want to be around that people tell them stuff that makes them feel comfortable, or that, yeah, you're right all the time. But sometimes we have to be
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable to be comfortable and to live in
Yeah.
our truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes life, like they said, life experience is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
So sometimes we don't want to hear the truth, and sometimes we think we know the truth, but sometimes we do need people on the outside to tell us, hey, we know this is what's going on, but look, this is way how we see stuff. And then you can eventually, if you're not living your truth, and you can sit back, and sometimes we sit back and think like, what they said wasn't too bad, and you can take it in, take it with a grain of salt. But sometimes it do take people to tell us certain things. I'm not saying you gotta take everybody's advice, like you said, you're not supposed to eat off everybody's table.
Absolutely.
But you definitely want to look at yourself and examine yourself throughout your lifetime, because you're going to change. Everyone changes.
Lord knows, yes indeed.
Everyone changes.
Especially what me being 48. 49 is pretty much saying I'm here. And 50 like knock, 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 and let me in. What I always say. As I'm getting older, it's like, wow. I'm so thankful for the growth that I see in myself. When it relates to owning your truth, who am I? One area that I think is always a constant struggle with me is the area of emotional intelligence. I am growing, but I had to learn to give myself grace because I don't always respond the way that I should, which I have mentioned before.
We are emotional creatures, Shirley. And I heard it saying from one of the motivational speaker, Eric Thomas, E.T. He said, we have to choose principle over emotions. And sometimes when it comes to certain situations, we do get emotional. I think that's the human part about it. That's going to always be there.
You know what my biggest challenge is, though?
What's that?
With people, and they may know that you are sensitive about something, or they know how to push your buttons.
Right.
And I think right now where I'm at is, and I was just so proud of myself the day before yesterday, because I encountered someone that was poking and I didn't respond. And it felt so amazing. I have now adopted the let them theory. Because
I like that.
You can't
let them theory.
Because sometimes you don't know where people are going through stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it be their own stuff
that
they are projecting onto you, and they want to pull all their stuff on you, when I know I could just speak for myself that I'm just genuinely just trying to be there for you,
right?
Be loyal to you, show you that I'm that person. But a lot of times I don't care from young to old.
Yeah.
If you do not know who you are, if you're not happy with yourself, what they say, misery loves company.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
And I told myself, with that situation, that I can't, if I'm growing, and like I have here in my notes, you got to understand your emotions, your reactions, and the patterns. And once I recognized the pattern of this individual, I said, you know what? I'm trying to go here. I can't continue to jump on that train, because guess what?
Right.
9 times out of 10, that person's going to be happy. Not happy, but you're giving them the reaction that they want.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I can't give you that, because guess what? I'm going to go home. I'm very transparent. I'm an overcomer with mental health, mental health issues, still working them out daily. This person knows that about me.
Right.
And for you to constantly post, it just lets me know a lot about who you are, not who you are, but that you're still got some issues within yourself that needs to be worked out.
Be addressed.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do you know they think they know that they poking you, or they trying
100%.
Really?
Why? Because it's been patterns more than one occasion. I have responded a couple times. But this recent time, I said, you know what? Not today. I'm just in a place where, because listen, accountability, right?
Yeah.
I am responsible for
you.
Shirley.
Yep.
And I can't keep sitting up here, even coming on here talking about growth and healing, and I'm constantly not growing, because I have to, and that's why I say I'm learning to quiet down.
Right.
Be quiet. Pay attention.
Right.
To what's going around me, who's around me.
Right.
and how people move.
Right.
I can be so sensitive that I can pick up on energy shift.
Right.
I can, and I hate to. I ain't gonna say I hate the gift of discernment, but I have to learn. I have and still learning how to use it uh, widely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, wisely with wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
not using it to pass judgment on people.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this before in a previous episode. We're not supposed to be overly judgmental and making assumptions about people,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to pay attention to people actions towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we talk about owning your truth, am I going to continue to let you in this space?
Right.
My heart,
Right.
when I know that you generally don't have genuine love for me.
And I'm glad you said that, because do you think we have to let people in for them to affect us?
Hmm. Do I
You
have
know,
to let them in?
like, are they? You letting them in some space in your, in you for them? Because I believe that if they don't have, if you don't care, whatever they do, if they don't affect you, they don't affect you.
I think I may be internalizing it. Yeah. Well, then yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because she must
Yes.
have a space, some kind of way. I don't know if you like her, or it's kind of like
That's what it is.
that's my friend. Like, I don't know what it is, because my thing is that
Yes.
no one that has a part of me is going to affect what they say and do to me.
Yes. Yes. And you're 100% right. Sometimes you hold people and have people in spaces that you put them in friend zones.
Right.
Let's just be 100% honest. You put them in
Right.
friend zones, and the way they did the stuff that they did, it just make you question. Like, I think I need to back up
Pull
a
back.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
this is what owning your truth and being
Yep.
real and growing and healing is about. You gotta do inventory.
Yep.
You gotta do self examination. And sometimes, like I always say, I will check myself.
Mm-hmm.
Hey girl, you know you wrong for
Yeah.
responding like that. You know you're wrong from doing this. You don't want that done to you. You don't do it to other people.
And I'm glad you said that, because now I'm so conscious about stuff. So when I do something, or I think I said something bad, after a while I feel bad. I
Yeah.
feel really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you be like, girl, why do you do that? But I feel bad.
Yeah, you do.
I
You
feel
do.
bad, and I know I have to work on that. And I mean, I just feel bad even when I tell people no, or whatever the case is. But when someone react a certain way, and then I pretty much follow suit in that certain way,
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad, and I'm like, why did I give them that energy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why I give them that energy? I'm never getting
That
that back.
part.
I'm like, why I
That
do
part.
that?
Yeah.
Why I
Yeah.
give them that energy?
Yeah.
But I think, go back to the emotion part. We're human.
and we are made to feel emotion.
We are.
You know.
We are. We react off that emotion instead of like, let me back up. But we give them what they ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a learning process, and I really appreciate this dialogue.
Yeah.
Because some of these conversations people don't want to admit and have.
Right.
Like today, we live in a time where, and I just had to, they say this fake is the new real. Everybody is just, and I had to discipline myself too, because you know me, I just love interaction. I love people. I love hanging out. I'm a social bug.
Mm-hmm.
I love to socialize. I love helping women, encouraging women, and so I'm always quick to, girl, hey, come on,
Yeah.
But now I'm learning that these days in time, people just don't have no regard about nothing. So I have to be more cautious of who I'm allowing access to, and where I am internalizing, and why am I giving you that much power to get to me like that?
You know what I tell my daughter, y'all? I made up something. I just thought about it one day. I said, we of the word, not the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world, and my favorite song is Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Mm-hmm.
of the world. I can't think of it, the song of it, but it was in one of the verses talking about, in reference to, a child is born the heart of gold, but the world turned him so cold.
Yeah.
So we have to really watch things of the world. You
Yeah.
know, because we want to do right and live right, but not everybody
Wants
is
the
on the
same.
same that
Yeah.
we want, and we
Yeah.
have to understand that
Yeah.
not everybody is like us.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be, loving and caring and giving, but not everybody's like that. So we do have to, you know, make sure we guard our heart and
Yeah.
protect our heart. Like the word says, we have to protect
Guard your
ourselves.
heart. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to, and we can't get upset and mad because people is not aligned what we believe in. But we
Mhm.
have to understand everybody's different.
Yeah.
They're not going to believe and do the things that we want to do.
Mhm.
But goes back to your truth. Long as you in your truth, long as
Yeah.
you're doing the things you know is right, you're
Mhm.
going to be good. Don't grow weary in doing wrong.
Yeah. 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 And when we think about, let's go a little bit deeper. When we think about, because we hear you say, "Only your truth, be real with yourself."
Right.
Owning your truth is not going against what your body and your what you're feeling, that intuition, because sometimes you'll get that little shift in you. You're like, wait a minute, that feels off. And I know I'm so guilty of this. I'll still go along with the plan. I'll still take the job. I'll still add that extra task onto my schedule that I know daggone well I don't need on my schedule. And then the next thing you know is it's a mess. You all over the place right now. One of my owning your truth is time management for me. I have to slow down. I can't do everything. I can't be everywhere. I have to say no. Even down to church, I had to take a minute and I had to step down off of a ministry because the word of God tells us not to be too busy.
Right.
And sometimes we're just be going about ministry but missing Jesus the whole time. That's part of owning your truth.
Right.
And when we think about that, you have to apply that to. I think if we apply that to every aspect, when we start off what we thinking, because it starts with a thought, right?
Right.
Okay. It comes to the person. Who is this person?
Right.
Why are they here?
Right. Right.
Are you here to take? Is it going to be an exchange? Are you using me? What is this? When it comes to the job, I'm real heavy on this these days. Am I happy?
Right.
When I come to this job, because the thing about the workplace is no job is going to be 100%.
Amen.
Everything
you want.
It's not.
It's not.
But I think
it's not.
For me, I have to look. First of all, I love being a nurse. I love what I do. But I also think you have to, when it comes to owning your truth, is this what I want to deal with when it comes to the politics and the dynamic and the relationship and the morale, of the staff and everything. This season, it's just working for me.
Right.
And that's where I'm at now, with the job when it comes to owning your truth. Is it an opportunity for growth here?
Right.
Am I allowing myself to stay stagnant?
Right.
Because of comfortability.
Right. Right.
So, owning your truth, you can't go against. You can't ignore the red flags.
You can't.
Even down to dating, relationships.
Can't.
Date. I mean, the data as it relates to relationships.
Right.
You can't ignore the red flags. You can't, ignore that.
Yeah.
He's a little aggressive.
Right. Right. Right.
In the beginning.
Right.
He's just upset.
And I think a lot of things before last time we had a conversation, a lot of people adapt, they accept things because their environment.
Yeah.
And the way how they grew up.
For sure.
It's hard to break, routines. It's very hard, especially when you see.
Well, the generational curse.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
It's really hard when you see, your sister or your aunt or your mom or whoever, you see people pretty much going through things and, they went through it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of forget about what you believe in and your truth when you know is what you know is right. So you adapted to that. So you got to break that cycle.
But when you said that, the light bulb went off. Sometimes we can unconsciously be living like what I'm trying to say, what we saw our mom or dad do.
And not even knowing.
Just like, I think I talked about this before, down to the way you put your food up. My mom was big.
Yep.
No pots in the refrigerator. You put your food in
the
container.
Yep.
You know, little things like that. A lot of the way I clean my home is based on how I was raised.
Yep.
My mom was real big on that. You never know when you're going to have company.
Yep.
Keep your house clean. Keep your bathroom clean. You know, so a lot of times to say, you know, I mentioned this before, no disrespect to my mom. You know, I always say that, no shape, form, or fashion. Because, you know, I always said she was trying to figure herself out.
Right.
But watching her go through the toxicity in relationships, you know, I attracted that.
Right.
Because I didn't know. You know, I just didn't know that it wasn't right.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
don't know. We don't
you
know.
Learn, you know, and then when you
learn, right.
and also, and your vibe is important, because then when you start to have friends and you see their significant other treating them right, and that's how you begin to learn, like, wait a minute.
It's called exposure.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're exposed to certain things in life, you're like, oh, it's something better.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because when you have certain people that grew up same area, have not been out the city, the state, so when they get out of that, it's like, oh wow, it's a lot more than what we think in here.
Yeah. That's just like when it came down to college. I was never introduced to college I became friends with my friend who was going to college.
Here.
And then I was like, well, wait a minute. You know, I would ask her questions and stuff, and I always knew that I had a passion of caregiving. Cause, you know, I was like working in a nursing home, but when she started mentioning, I was like, wait a minute. Then you go to work, and then you heard, I started hearing, you know, I knew about a registered nurse, but you know, you don't really know the steps and all of that. And then I didn't graduate from high school, so I'm like, you know, I went back, I got my GED. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to school.
I'm gonna do this, right?
Yeah, you know. So you're right. It is about exposure.
It's about exposure. You know, so when you get the exposure in life, you be like, oh, okay. And it goes back to learning the truth, because the untruth was, oh, well, I can't do this. I can't do that. I got to be stagnant. I'm only going to be at this level. I only can, like you said, a high school diploma. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But then you get exposed. You live in your truth like, oh, no. I can go to college.
Yeah.
Or I could be something bigger.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to be there. So, yeah, that's
and
only
then,
the truth.
Another thing, when we look at the owning your truth, are you, again, staying stagnant?
Right.
Are you not growing, you know?
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, I mean, this is a great conversation, Shirley. I'm glad you speaking about that, because, like you said, today people don't live their truth.
They don't.
You know, with the social media, not knocking it, because you know people have to. I do it to promote my business as well, but they look at stuff it's so fabricated, and they think it's true, and it's like, and then something come out sooner or later, like, people not living their truth. They only showing you what they want you and me to see.
Yeah. And granted, because who's really going to post there?
That part.
Sometimes, though, I will randomly do a TikTok video, and I may talk about something I may be going through.
Oh, I've seen it.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
You know? But most people are not going to do that. They always want to give you
the good.
The good. You know, and granted, like they say, you don't want your business all over.
Right.
You know, social media. But I do feel like social media has.
What did we talk about before we got on here? Balance.
Yeah.
People don't have that. They don't have that balance.
Yeah.
And that's life.
Yeah.
You know, not everything is cookies and cream and, you know, good things. But bless you. But they gotta have that balance, and people don't have it.
And I just think with social media too. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm choking all of a sudden.
No, you good.
I was having this conversation with someone, and I mentioned how some people, friends, they use that as their form of connection with you. Now, don't get me wrong, because I had to adjust, especially going back to being a nursing instructor and coming from doing everything on paper.
Right.
And I know that technology is growing.
Yeah.
But even with interacting with my first set of nursing students,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to remind myself they don't want these papers that they digital. You know,
Everything. Yep.
technology. Everything is on the screen. So
Yep.
I had to adjust to the way that I
Yep.
teach. But I'm
Yep.
saying that to say is that I had a friend, girl, you ain't come to my event. You ain't, and I'm like, well, when did you? I don't remember you
Right.
calling
Right.
me a sec. It was
It was
on
posted.
Facebook, girl. And no offense to anybody, but no, I don't really check Facebook
Right.
like that.
Right.
You know, I do get on there sometimes, but and as I'm really growing, I have been taking breaks from social media.
Yeah.
I go on there,
Yeah.
I'll post my little whatever, and I'll take a little break, you know, because sometimes too much of that is not good for you.
That's what I tell people. I post and ghost.
Yeah.
I post and ghost.
Yeah.
Now, doing what I, do what I do for real estate, whatever the case
Yeah.
is. Now, I look at my message. I get alerts.
Yeah.
But if I say on there, it's like I'm strolling. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I post and goes and try to go back and do what I'm doing. Now, if I had downtime, I don't go in there. I do go in
Yeah,
there.
me
But you
too.
have
Yeah.
to have,
Yeah.
it goes back to time management
Yeah.
when you're doing that. But, yeah, I had someone to do that for a couple things. And I'm like, what again?
Yeah.
You didn't, funerals, everything,
Yeah.
dog. And I was like, no.
And even with text messaging, you know, I had to, and we didn't got all off topic, but we still were on
Right.
the truth, but I just got to say this. We're going to get back to the topic
It's
in one
okay.
second. It was like, well, look, we all talk about truth. Like.
That is only a truth, right? That is your truth that you don't, if we want to communicate, communicate with me.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
when you're putting on Facebook and social media, you're communicating with everyone. And not
Yes.
everyone going there to get everything, especially
Yeah.
when it's something personal.
Yeah, yeah. But even with text messages too, I try to now, like, certain conversation, pick the phone up.
Right.
Because even with this can get
Yeah.
mixed up. I
Yeah.
had somebody get smart with me one time because the way the text message came in, I'm like, I didn't mean it like that, but okay, I
Was it all
apologize.
caps? You gave them all caps?
I know that meant you yelling.
Right.
No, I didn't.
I have
do
a
all
cousin that
caps.
does that. I'm like, can you please stop? You're yelling at me.
Yeah, but
Oh, God. That's
I
so funny.
appreciate this episode so
Yeah,
much. But
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
this is all in my trip. I gotta catch up with the technology. Hold
Yeah.
on, one more thing.
Go ahead.
When it comes to growth, I need to grow in this technology world because
Yeah.
I'm went back to school and the Microsoft Word
Uh-huh.
on Mac, honey, I'll be ready. I'm ready to take the whole computer.
I had Windows 11. I
I
can't.
had to call
That Mac is my nephew. He does it. I'm
Yeah.
like, you can have
Yeah,
that.
one day I was having such a hard time, and I called my young girlfriend,
Right.
and I said, "Hey, can you please help me?" You know, and she showed me. I had to show her my screen. And, I said, "Lord, I gotta really lock
Yeah.
down," and that's where that getting off of social media comes into play and focus on what you need to do. But
That goes back to owning your truth because
Yeah.
within the next 5 years, everything what you're talking about, we're going to be using
Yeah.
technology. That's
Yeah.
owning our truth. Like we have to learn it.
yeah, and don't be set in your ways.
We have
'Cause-
to learn it because they're trying to get away from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I used to say this like, oh, you know how we say something about old people, and now I'm kind of.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, it's you now. What you got to say
Right.
now? Because it's real. You know, you
It's
have
real.
to always be
It's
teaching
real.
yourself. You have to always be growing.
Yep.
You have to always take accountability
Yep.
for yourself. Listen, if it's not for you, if it don't feel right, let's not go down that road.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm ready to wrap this up. Anything you want to say before we go?
This was great as always. Season talk, and you have a season when you
Yes.
feel a certain kind of way. Owning your truth.
Yeah.
This could be the season now for you to own your truth,
Yeah. No matter what it is.
no matter what it is.
Yes. If you need to leave that job, you know, do you need to speak up more?
Yep.
Do you need to start responding more? Do you need to
Mhm.
get out of that relationship? Do you need to communicate your feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going against what you know don't
Mhm.
feel right? God gave us a conscience.
Mm.
Use it wisely.
Mhm.
And so, instead of an affirmation today, I'm going to end this with a question. If you were completely honest with yourself today, what truth might you be avoiding? As always, thank you for watching Season Talk. Have a good one.